Welcome to another episode of Behind Closed Doors. You're going to meet Kris and Alina. They're going to share their story and make you think that, hey, maybe anything is possible online. Well, welcome you two. Come on in. We're gonna go into the kitchen here. So Alina, you can sit there, and Kris, you can be on the end.
Sounds good.
Oh, yes, I should be a hostess and offer you some water. You guys want some water? Yes, please. Okay. And this is going to be very interesting, holding the mic and carrying water. I think this was yours. And I'd like do the old bar thing. Oh.
Thank you.
Curling shot. Wow. Okay, so Kris, I was very surprised and happy when you sent me a little email a while back and saying that you have a story to tell and you like the series, this new series Behind Closed Doors. Well, it's not really behind closed doors because we have a lot of cameras and then a lot of people are going to hear your story. But now I know that our kind of previous relationship, so to speak, was doing a story about you, your bodybuilding, but also your battle with mental illness and your whole journey through that. And now you have found love and a beautiful partner, but what is the story?
Okay, so I guess essentially I started dating, and it was a long time since I've been dating, put it that way, like 15, 16 years, that kind of thing. So I had no idea how to do it. And so I saw on Facebook there's this Facebook dating. And then some of my friends told me there's other apps. So I tried Tinder, and that's how I met Alina actually, on Tinder, which is kind of, a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say you never meet anyone on these things, but.
Isn't that the one where you swipe?
Yes. I think so,
Swipe.
yeah.
That's the one.
So, like I had only been on, I guess I met, after my divorce, I met one person for a few months and then dated another for like 1 or 2 dates, and then I met Alina. So I've been basically on 3 dates, so to speak, that kind of thing, dating 3 people since my divorce. And then I got lucky and met her, and we had some really interesting conversations. We kind of got to know each other really quickly, actually. Maybe I'll defer to her on what she thought of me, actually, and then I'll explain like what I saw in her, kind of thing.
Oh, well, yes, I'm curious, Alina. So what was your first impression of Kris?
The first impression, that's what I saw on Tinder. I kind of read the story about schizophrenia and his documentary and how he's willing to help others and change the world. So that's what attracted me. And we met. And that's pretty much how it started. Lots of conversations. We talk a lot, and those are really deep conversations. And that's what makes it more fun.
Yeah.
And yes, Tinder has a pretty bad reputation because every time I say where we met, everyone's like, no, there's no way.
So
that
this
doesn't
is a
work.
happy story.
It does work.
Yes. So what is your previous background?
I left my husband almost 2 years ago, and I also went on Tinder. But for me, I was very determined to find the one. Like I didn't want just date. I didn't want like at my age, already having past relationship. I have kids already, so I wasn't like I have to be in the relationship. So I was looking for something perfect or pretty close to perfect.
You knew what you wanted.
Yeah, and that's how I went. I went on those dates like with a huge list of what I'm looking for, and as soon as I see that the person doesn't match all the criteria, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine, next. And that's how it was. And I could, because when I was talking about it, a few women, I work with women, and they were asking me, how did you do that? I was just being myself. I was very open about who I am, what I'm looking for, and I could say, if I was asked if you want to go on a date, I would be like, yes, sure, let's meet there at that time, and I'll be like, can you buy me flowers, please? So I was very straightforward because I love flowers. I want flowers all the time, and that's what he actually does. He does a really good job when it comes to flowers. And I was very straightforward, and yeah, that's how I met him.
Well, what did you think of each other when you first? And where did you first actually meet?
Okay, so do you mind if I go first?
Yes.
So polite.
Okay, so I guess the way to say it is we met at where I wanted us to go on the first date was Ichiban, which is one of my favorite restaurants, and I had taken a few dates there before. Okay, like 2 other dates.
Chris, you don't
So
go to the same
I'm
place
revealing
we
my
met.
formula here. The reason why, though, I wanted to go there is because there's some entertainment,
Yes.
and it takes the pressure off me a little bit. I'm a real nervous person, so. And I thought, well, you know, she hadn't been there, so that was a good thing. And then I wanted to take her. So we met there, and there was all this construction, so we had to kind of meet outside the building. So I met her kind of like across the street, and I saw this little girl, this little person walking across. I was like, wow, I hope I don't. The first thing I thought is like, I'm all muscles, right? And
He's way bigger. Yeah.
and I thought, I'm just a big, strong person. And then when she came up close, I saw how beautiful she was and nicely dressed. And we had a hug right away. And then we walked to the restaurant, and it was fun. I had a good time. I was nervous, but and she didn't eat very much. And I had this like 5-course thing. I looked like a big pig, basically. But I ate like everything they had on the menu almost. And it was a lot of fun. And then, and I think did we go to the park after, or was that the next? See, I get everything kind of mixed up. But I guess we'll go with what.
It was a nice date. It was interesting, and the way I am, I always refer to my feelings, like how I feel. Was the person comfortable, uncomfortable, stressed, or whatever? And with him, it always felt very comfortable, and still, like, it always makes me feel comfortable. So that's the key.
So now, the 2 of you have grown. You have children, correct? The kids like him, or yeah?
Oh yeah, he's
and
really
you like
good
the
with
kids?
He's really good with his kids. Yeah.
I love the kids. We got the younger one is 8. I don't know if it's good to say his name or not, but and then the older one is 19. So it's a big age gap.
Yeah.
And like it's really nice because I'm able to with the older one I can have more mature talks and see her kind of struggle with things that I struggled with when I was younger, and being able to give her a little bit of tips and things like that, or encouragement. I think is really what I try and do is encouragement, and sometimes I help out a little bit with some of the plans that she has and like how to. She's also an artist, and she's a very good tattoo artist and just an artist in general.
Just started her tattoo career.
Yeah, so I mean, my background is a lot of art too, so we really get along well in that aspect. And the younger fellow, he's quite a handful, a lot of energy. I was just like me when I was a kid, so I can see a lot of similarities there, and I can kind of see like what kind of things he enjoys doing and where his strengths are. And I'm holding back a little bit because it's new to him.
Yeah.
But I really want to be able to kind of at some point help steer him with those strengths and like the right direction, because I think he's going to be good at like everything he does, kind of thing.
Well, and I guess now, if you kind of look at both of your lives before, what was missing and what you wanted, I think children always add a new dynamic, right? And I think in your case, Kris, maybe this is something that you needed. And for Alina, of course, to find not only for yourself, but also for the children too.
That was important too, yes.
Yeah. So now we've gotten over this. Where do you stand? I heard there's some news about moving in.
Okay, so this is the second time moving in. So there was, we moved in together September last year. But backing up, maybe just before that, I just mentioned that we went on a trip to Edmonton, got to know each other really well for, was it 1 week or 2 weeks, or something like that. So it was a road trip, and it was really fun. We were busy, we did lots of activities together. I have like tons of videos and things from that time. And then we got back and kind of got back to the regular life, and I had a bodybuilding competition, so we I moved in just the month before the competition, so that's a rough month.
Yeah.
Like, cause that's the month, I don't know if anyone's familiar with bodybuilding, but the diet is crazy,
It's a lot.
hard, and then a
The
new
training
relationship, you wanna
is-
go and like go to
Yeah.
people's house for dinner and things like that, meet her friends. And I had to say no to a lot of food and like try not to offend everyone. Cause I wanna do well in my contest. So that month was I was a little bit moody because of my competition. So that was a little bit of a strain, I'd say, but she was super supportive. We went out to Toronto together. First thing, my favorite memory, like in my life pretty much, besides one that I had with my dad, was putting the medal on her when I came off stage. I came off stage right away and I put it on her neck. I'm like, you deserve this for doing all this stuff and putting up with me, pretty much, because I was super, super grumpy. And she didn't say a word or anything like that. She was super supportive. So I couldn't say enough good things about that. But that's probably my favorite like memory so far. I guess going forward, we had a Christmas. Because of the religion I was in when I was younger and kind of grew up in, there was no Christmas or anything like that. So it was all new to me. So that was a very beautiful experience doing that with her kids and the birthdays and things like that. So, and then I guess moving a little bit ahead, we had some turmoil.
In March.
Yeah, I lost both my jobs. I was super depressed, and I don't think maybe she was prepared for seeing that. And then she was going through some personal stuff too. So we weren't really there for each other so well. We kind of got into some fights, and then I ended up moving out for a bit, and just yesterday I moved back in. So we worked through it.
Does he have a temper?
No, I do.
you have the temper, so you put him in his place. Well, and that's always hard. And as I know, I mean, a little bit about bodybuilding and that kind of, I guess, area, it's so physically but more mentally hard.
Mentally
and
it's
you
very
and you tend to shutter everything inside, right? And he must be like a stone wall when he's.
It was hard. I think that was one of my mistakes is when he was in that prep, and I put so much focus on him, helping him, supporting him, that I just burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I completely lost myself. I was just focusing on him. So by the time we got to Toronto to his competition, I was already exhausted. And then we came back, and there's like all this work, house, everything you need to take care of, and it was just like piling up.
Yeah.
That's when we lost.
I'd like to say too, I'm not used to this, so she made all my meals. Like, she worked hard. She definitely did a lot of nice things. So
Now,
I'm very
so
lucky.
how did you solve this?
We talked. We talk a lot. That's why we learned
And we listen to
to
each other.
talk about our feelings. And it's really hard in the beginning. It was so hard. We're still getting better at it. But like, I feel like we both were tending to take everything personal. So if I say I'm mad at you, then he feels like he's a bad person because he's making me mad or something. And I was explaining that, no, you are not a bad person. I still love you, but I'm just mad because of the situation or whatever else is happening in our life. So we're kind of learning not to take things personally and hear each other.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah, and acknowledging each other's feelings, I think, is very important. Like, we both are entitled to our feelings, regardless of the other person wanting them to be that way or not wanting them to be that way. But it's up to us to deal with each other and kind of come together with those.
The interesting
feelings.
thing is that both of our behaviors, they trigger our pains, right? So I do things that will trigger his pains, whatever happened to him when he was a kid or whatever. And this is exactly what I'm doing. It's like we're just like magnets. We're like attached to each other to trigger that and let it heal. So that's how it works, and it's really difficult.
Yeah.
I'm an astrologer, so I can look at our charts and I can actually see what's the problem there. So that helps. But the most important thing is like remembering that it's a two-way traffic, and one person cannot deal with all the problems, so you have to be partners. It's a teamwork.
I'll have to say too, as far as the astrology part, I'm very open-minded, super open-minded. I don't think anything that I've heard about that I know anything about or that I'm able to judge it. And actually watching her kind of show how it's done, I was really impressed because she did a chart she never met some of my family and she did some charts for them. And it was pretty accurate.
Bang on.
Yeah, she knew what kind of person. She's like, did something happen in this year? Like she knew the year that like certain things happened. I was like, what? So anyways, I would highly recommend her if anyone's looking for someone to help them in their life. Definitely. It's helped me a lot. Like, put my stuff in perspective.
Okay, so let's talk and point about that. When Alina has this talent and has this expertise, and I know, and you probably heard from people, oh, that's just, you know, pile of smoke, whatever.
For sure, yeah.
But when you can kind of have something like that personally affect you, how does that make you feel?
Confident that I know she has our best interest in hand. And also it makes me more secure about like when I'm going after certain things and the way I go about them. Because she kind of knows what way I should go about it. So she says like, don't put your energy here, put it here kind of thing. And it seems to work out really well. So I have to give her a lot of credit for some of the stuff recently that's going well for me. So,
Whoa.
so I think it's really been beneficial. And also like I get the pleasure of kind of seeing how she deals with some of her clients and they all feel the same way. So,
Well, it's interesting. I'm going to ask you this. I told you because I don't know your story, but a little curious. In your previous relationship with your husband, did he believe in what you did?
He didn't. He didn't.
My head is nodding, going, yeah, no. That explains everything.
And
Smart person.
the interesting thing is Kris might not be 100% on board with everything I'm doing, but he is always 100% supportive.
Supportive. That is, isn't it? And that is so maddening because, and even in a great, like even in my relationship with my husband, he doesn't always agree on what I'm doing like this either. But he is supportive, and like, what is it, 9.5 times out of 10 when women leave the relationship, it's because they do
No
not.
support, lack of support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does now having someone like this support you? Must
It's
be
amazing.
like
it feels
a
really
weight
good.
lifted, right?
Yeah. It feels really good. It's very, very liberating, I would say. Yeah.
I'd have to say too, not to knock myself too much, I think I'm fairly intelligent. But I got to know, actually, she's way smarter than me. Way smarter. Like, she'll learn something way
That's
faster.
the secret of our happiness. I know the
it's-
secret of the happiness, yes.
No, it's not even, I'm not just trying to kiss the butt or whatever. I've actually noticed she'll catch on to things way faster than me. I'm more like someone who would strategically use something to my benefit a lot more in my life. Whereas she's someone who'll like learn it real quick, understand it real quick, and then help me understand it faster too. It's like, oh yeah, you're right. And then, so that actually is a good combination because, you know, with her endeavors too, with using a strategy sometimes is, like that's where I'm really good. I'm good with being strategic on
Okay,
getting
so
goals.
in strategic plans now, obviously moving in number 2 seems to be better than the first move. Where is move 3 going to be?
My hope, I don't know, like we've kind of talked about it a little bit. First, financially, you got to get
Yes.
more secure. Once that takes place, then the next move is into a better situation for living, for the kids and for her and I. And then after that, well, I mean, during that too, I want to kind of build our businesses because I have my production company kind of starting in the beginning part now. So pretty soon I'll have that running. I have like some of it up and running, but not all of it.
So the both of you are, you know, working together.
Yeah.
And I think that is the main thing. And for you, Alina, do you see a clear path now?
I'm not a strategic person at all. I'm go with the flow. So I'm not planning a few days ahead, not more than a few days ahead. So I'm trusting him on that.
Aw. And marriage?
I mean, for me, that's something, I don't know, we haven't talked too much about it, but I think this is a good move in the commitment part for me. This is what I was looking for, is like to have more commitment. And I see that happening. For me, that's a good part. That's a good direction for me. And I think for her too, I think in the long run.
In the long run.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
yeah.
I'd like there to be like a more committed relationship later on for sure.
Oh, it's not about commitment for me. For me, honestly, it doesn't matter if on paper you're married officially
Yeah.
or not. I feel like the relationship between the two people are more important. You can be married and not committed at all, or
Oh,
you
true.
can never get married
I
and be
agree with
committed
that too.
forever, right? But as I said, I do know my chart. So for me, just jumping right into the marriage won't be a good idea. So I'm waiting.
I'm okay with
So
waiting.
the story will continue.
Yeah, I'm okay with waiting.
Oh, well, you
So-
know that's always a good thing. And like to find each other in this day and age,
Yeah, I was
was
surprised.
that in the charts like pretty cool? Like, or
I think it's really nice. Yeah, it's a good benefit.
Yeah,
Because
she,
fairly, like a lot of people that a lot of women I'm talking to, and they kind of give up
oh
at
yeah,
this age. No.
and with kids, and
Exactly.
not always going to meet a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I feel like an old bodybuilder. That's what I feel like.
Okay. I'm an old astrologer too.
Well, I'm so glad the stars aligned though. Yeah. Well, thank you, you two. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.